Hello and welcome to Vox Markets. I am John Hewman and I'm joined today by David Price, Chief Executive Officer of Rockfire Resources, to talk us through what has been a year of massive progress at the Mining Explorer. Welcome, David.
Thank you very much, John. It's lovely to be back, and I appreciate the opportunity to let people know what we've achieved this year.
Indeed, and as I said, it's been a year of lots of progress. There's a recent news flow from Greece, but perhaps you could in your own way talk us through what's been going on this year.
Sure. Thanks, John. It's been a remarkable year for Rockfire, and despite the very disappointing share price, not much I can do about that one at the moment. I just have to do what I do, and that's just keep exploring. So the year started with a tremendous bang. Actually, in 8th of March of this year, Rockfire was awarded the tender for the Malaoi zinc project in Greece. I guess it was a little bit left field for most people, being previously very much focused on Queensland and Australia. So the concept of suddenly rushing off to Greece took a few people on the hop, I guess. But the main thing is that we're very focused on getting quality assets, and the Malaoi project presented itself. We jumped at that opportunity, and so far it's just been a brilliant move. So I'll run through the year's activity since the 8th of March when we were awarded that tender for the Malaoi project. So immediately after the awarding of the contract, we were still very much focused on Copperhead at that time. And on the 21st of March, we actually came out with our maiden resource, our maiden copper resource at the Copperhead project in Queensland. And we came out with a resource of 64 million tonnes of 0.19, just under 0.2% copper equivalent. So that equates to about 120,000 tonnes of copper equivalent metal in the ground. So that was a great achievement. It is a low grade, admittedly it is a low grade, but very often these very large projects with bulk tonnage have low grades associated with them. So that was a great outcome, a great achievement on our first drilling program at Copperhead. And don't forget, it was our maiden resource, our maiden drilling program. So I think people underestimate the success of that drilling program at Copperhead. So that was really great start to the year as well, after the announcement of the winning of the tender at Malaoi. Of course, when we got the tender awarded to Rockfire, on the 3rd of May, we actually announced the reanalysis of the historical drill core. And they came back with spectacular grades of zinc, up to 36% zinc in some of the old core. And it verified the analysis that was done on the old core by the Greek government at the time. And that was about 1988. So we reanalyzed the old core and came back with some spectacular zinc results. And we were very happy that we were able to analyze them and come back with the same results. So that was a great outcome. Also on the 10th of May, very surprisingly, we just announced the discovery of germanium, which is one of the critical metals. So germanium is actually listed on the EU and the the EU and the US list of critical minerals. And germanium is a great asset to have there in association with the zinc that we have at Malaoi. It will be formed as a byproduct of any concentrate we produce. And so that adds probably around 14% value to the concentrate itself. So it's a great metal to have there. Germanium is a bit of...
Was that expected when you won the tender? Was this a lovely bit of serendipity to come along your way?
No, look, it was not expected at all, John. What happened is that I had read an article, actually a scientific paper, that suggested that germanium is sometimes associated with zinc deposits. So based on reading that old paper, I then decided to analyze the rocks for germanium, and they came back with very high-grade germanium. So that's not always the case with zinc deposits, but we're fortunate that we do have germanium associated with the zinc. So a great outcome as well. Now, based on the reanalysis of the old core and, 173 diamond holes that have been drilled by the Greek government, we announced a maiden inferred JORC resource at Malaoi. That resource is 2.3 million tonnes at 11% zinc equivalent, which is a very, very high grade. Now, bearing in mind that most underground mines, zinc mines, require a minimum of 10%, the 11% is a tremendous outcome for us. Now, that's broken down into 9% of 9.4% zinc, 1.7% lead, and 47 grams per tonne silver. So there's silver, lead, and zinc in that zinc equivalent that we quote, and that's based on a 4% low-grade cut, which means we take out everything that is below 4% zinc. So it's a great outcome to be able to have that sort of zinc grade, and we're very pleased with that maiden resource. So we have achieved a lot already, and that's just up until the 23rd of May. So then 21st of June, we appointed our Greek geologist, Kostas Christodoulou, and our Greek mining engineer, Georgios Vlahos. So two tremendous guys. They're really great. The young fellas are very enthusiastic, great learners, and they've got, interestingly enough, Kostas, our geologist, has experience with VMS deposits in Cyprus. So very apt exploration experience that Kostas has, and he's a tremendous asset to us, as is George with his mining engineering skills and expertise. So we appointed them on the 21st of June in anticipation for moving the project forward. 28th of July, we actually submitted our environmental study, which is required before any drilling occurs. So we were very happy that we got that approved, that we had that submitted at that time. And as you probably know or may know, we are actively drilling at the moment. On the 5th of August, we applied to become a member of the European Raw Materials Alliance, which was accepted. And that puts us in with the big boys of Europe with the raw materials, and particularly with the critical metals that I mentioned. So that's tremendous to be part of that alliance in Europe. On the 10th of August, still going. I
So
have to hang on to your breath here because there's a lot that we did. So on the 10th of August, we completed the initiation of contacting and discussing all the landowners in the area surrounding Malaoi. So that was an achievement in itself, because obviously we want to work very closely with the local landowners. It was a great outcome to have met them all. The feedback was very positive, and they all said, look, we'll back the project as long as you guys do the right thing. No surprises there, and we'll do the right thing. So far, so good. And we commenced our exploration at Malaoi on the 17th of August. So that included our rock sampling and of course some metallurgical sampling. What we did is actually we had some of the old core from the historical drilling. We actually submitted that for metallurgical test work in Perth, and they came back with tremendous results. So the metallurgical results, we had recoveries of 89% of the zinc, and 74% of the lead was recovered in just a single pass. So very, very often they do multiple passes through the closed system. This was a single pass with 89% zinc and 74% lead. So tremendous first test work results. There'll be more test work results to come, and we expect that those recoveries will improve as we do that additional test work. Interestingly, commercially saleable grades of zinc being 57% zinc in the concentrate, 856 grams per tonne silver, huge silver, reporting to the concentrates. 63% lead is being reported in the concentrates, 117 grams per tonne germanium. Surprisingly, 2.6% copper. Didn't expect that one. And half a gram gold, 0.52 grams per tonne gold in the concentrate. So a few surprises there, but very pleasant surprises. We always like good surprises. No one likes bad surprises. So that's a good surprise for us, and great outcome for the metallurgy. And we wanted to get that done very early so that we knew that we can actually achieve a concentrate. It's all very well to go and do your exploration, do all the drilling, and then at the end of the day, you actually can't form a concentrate. That's bad news. So we've found that we can form a concentrate, and that gives us encouragement to continue with our exploration going forward. On the 26th of September, we had a 10-hectare parcel of land at Malaoi that was leased to Rockfire by the Greek state, and that is a 30-year lease, and it allows us to use that land for infrastructure. It also includes the location of an historical portal that was developed by the Greek state, and that was leased to us on the 26th of September for a 30-year period, which is great. The 28th of September, we actually had myself and Rockfire's chairman, Gordon Hart, appointed to the board of Hellenic Minerals, which was the time that we actually formally acquired Hellenic Minerals, which is the Greek subsidiary. It's a 100% subsidiary of Rockfire, and Gordon and myself were appointed to the board, which gave us representation on the local board. The 14th of October, Rockfire, we're very quiet on what we do socially. We do quite a lot for the social community, the local community of Malaoi, but we're very quiet about it. But on the 14th of October, Rockfire contributed 4 defibrillators to the local schools, 4 local primary schools. And this is part of our ESG that we do, and it's very important to us. And our governance, as far as social governance and environmental governance, is very, very important to us. So that's one of the things we've done. There'll be lots and lots of other things that we do for the community. And we tend not to make a big song and dance about it, because we're not here for our own patting on the back and glory. We're here to help the community, and we'll do that. There were no cameras, there were no reporters, and even better, there were no politicians, which is always great. So that was really great to be able to help the community in that way. And then more recently, on the 21st of November, we announced that we'd started our drilling, and that was a great outcome. We're doing geotechnical drilling. Now, this is a little bit different from exploration drilling. What this is doing is obtaining core for what we call uniaxial compressive strength tests, UCS tests. And it's tests on the rock to be able to find out how the rock reacts when you create a void underground. So when you start mining underground, you create a void, and pressures are released and pressures are imposed on other areas of the rock. So what you want to know is, how does the rock stand up? How does it stand up when you create a void? Are you going to kill people? That's what we want to make sure we don't do. It's designed for safety. And what we do is we do these strength tests to make sure that we're able to hold that ground up when we actually create that void. That's very, very important. The other thing it will do is provide crushing and grinding work indexes for us. So how much energy is required to crush the rock initially? How much energy is required to grind the rock to a fine powder as part of the processing? And of course, when you know the amount of energy that you need to be able to produce this fine powder, you then can work out the cost of that. Those costs will work in towards our feasibility study, and particularly our financial feasibility study. So this is all designed to move towards a mine. This is a very deliberate strategy. We're making sure that all the ducks line up. We've got 173 historical drill holes. It's amazing. We've probably inherited somewhere between 30 and 40 million euro worth of work that was done by the Greek state. And of course, it's in the Greek state's interest and our interest to be able to get this monetized, and we're working hard towards doing that. So that's what all of this initial work is on about, is to make sure that we actually do the work that will tell us, yes, we can actually create a mine out of this. On the 22nd of November, we discovered the old portal site, which is something that we knew approximately where it was. And then we got a backhoe in and we dug around, and we actually found the old concrete collar around the old underground mine entrance. So that was an exciting time, and something that we hope that we can open that old mine in the future. We need to do test work to make sure that that's going to be safe. The ground is very strongly broken. It's very strongly brecciated. It's veined. It's shattered. So it's very poor ground, and it's something that we're very conscious of. And this comes back to making sure that we create a safe mine. So we're sort of looking long term here, because we want to make sure that all our ducks are in a row there. 28th of November, we mentioned that we put an RNS out saying that we'd found high-grade zinc in some of the old mines. These are historical shafts that have been created, and I think back in the 60s these were created further along strike. So we've got 5.5 kilometers of exploration strike, and these old workings all host high-grade zinc, which is great. So that was a big tick to be able to confirm that rock, that those old mines contain zinc. And probably the most recent one is the 12th of December. We announced to the market that our drilling had hit massive sulfides and semi-massive sulfides and disseminated sulfides in our first drill hole. So look, that's a great start. Of course, we can't determine how much zinc is in it, but the fact that we're hitting these sulfides is very, very pleasing. It verifies the old drilling that was done from the historical days, and it also proves that the mineralization modeling that we've done, our geologists at Rockfire have done, is accurate. So I think that's probably something that we're really, really thrilled about, that we've been able to verify that, and we're on track to be able to provide some pretty good numbers coming out of this drilling.
No, it's a year of fantastic progress, and it give you obviously a great platform to kind of build this mine out from. So what comes next? What's the sort of timelines? What can investors expect to see this year in the way of news flow?
Look, the next year we're going to be focused on drilling. It's purely drilling, and we'll in conjunction with drilling, we will also be looking at more metallurgical test work so that we advance that and try and improve those recoveries. We'll also be doing, as I mentioned, those stress tests, the crushing and grinding work indexes. So that news flow will come. But look, it really is focused on drilling. We've got a year of drilling ahead of us. What we want to do is to drill out this resource to the point that we can come in with reserves and start to do some numbers around that. And then, of course, by the end of this year, coming year, by the end of 2023, I hope we can be starting on our feasibility studies in earnest.
No, absolutely. So it sounds like the Greek project is has fantastic potential. You raised some money in October, so presumably you're well funded to actually put this program in place to fund the program.
Yeah, that money was used, being used, as you say, by drilling right now. So we're spending that money rapidly on drilling, and we will continue to drill, because it's a great asset. There's a long way to go to be able to get this all made into a mine. That's the objective, to monetize this and create a mine, and we're well on the way. Having 173 drill holes there from previous exploration is just a godsend. It really is. It's fantastic.
Yeah, very helpful indeed. So just turning away from Greece for the time being, what's the plan in Australia? So you've still got four projects in Australia. What's the outlook for those this year? What have you got in the pipeline?
Yeah, good point. Look, the outlook is they're sort of taking second row at the moment for our tier of importance, if you like, and the reason is that Malaoi, of course, is far more advanced than all of those projects. Look, they won't be forgotten. We plan to continue them. It'll be low-key exploration going forward on the four of them, just to make sure that they're kept in good standing for a start, but also to be able to advance them. And before we start going back and drilling all of them, and we have drilled them, but before we start drilling them, we want to make sure that we do all of the work that's needed to make sure that we put the dollars where it should be put at each of those projects.
So really the focus this year is Malaoi, getting that drilled.
Yeah.
No, it's absolutely fascinating, hearing, particularly that it's building on old works that have been there for some time. It's quite an extraordinary story. Thank you very much for sharing it with us, David. And best of luck with the drilling in the year ahead.
That's great. I appreciate the time, and thanks for everybody for listening.
Thank you.